Have you ever wondered, why are some people still healthy, alert, and full of energy at the age of 85, while others have to be hospitalized constantly after the age of 75? Are they luckier, or is there something we have never been taught? I still remember. A few years ago, I met an old man named Harold in the park near my house. He is 82 years old, but every morning he walks 3 rounds, then stops to read a book under an old oak tree. I asked curiously, "What do you do to stay healthy?" He smiled, pointed to his heart, then his head. "Keep these 2 active every day, the rest will be fine." That statement completely changed the way I looked at aging. We often think that getting old means being sick and dependent. But what is the reality? Nearly 80% of deaths after age 75 come from completely preventable causes. It's not fate. It's not because you have to be like that when you're old. It's because we are not prepared properly. I end today's video. Together we will explore 10 silent dangers, those who steal your health, your sanity, and the joy of living after age 75. Some of these you may have heard of. A few other things will surprise you. But the special thing is, we're not just talking about causes, which we'll go deeper into. Why does it happen? What are common mistakes? And especially, how can you or a loved one prevent it from today? No need to change your whole life. Just take small, steady steps in the right direction. If you are living with elderly parents, or you yourself are at the age of 60 to 70 and starting to think more about health, then this video could be a gift for you. You deserve to live longer, healthier, and more independent. And that starts with one small choice. Watch today's video until the end. Let's start with the first danger, the silent killer that everyone thinks they can't avoid. I once knew a person named Richard, a neighbor who was always cheerful and enthusiastic about helping everyone in the neighborhood. At the age of 76, he still drove to fish every weekend, took care of the garden, and kept saying, "I'm still very healthy. My heart beats as strongly as when I was young." Until one afternoon, he suddenly collapsed while washing his car in the yard. The heart attack came without warning. Because the heart doesn't always scream for help with pain. Sometimes it just whispers, then goes silent. Heart disease doesn't just happen when you feel chest pain. It often starts from very small things. A little tiredness when climbing stairs, shortness of breath when walking a few steps, or the feeling of being slower than before that you thought was due to age. Actually, the heart is a muscle, and like any other muscle, if you don't exercise it, it will weaken. Pressure from high blood pressure, bad cholesterol, a diet high in salt and trans fats, all pile up on the vessel walls like a layer of rust. By the time you realize it, it's often too late. Many people after the age of 70 believe, "I'm still healthy, still walking normally. There's probably nothing to worry about." But the truth is that more than 50% of people who have a heart attack have no obvious symptoms before. And when symptoms appear, the heart has suffered damage. The good news is, you can retrain your heart. No marathon needed. Just 15 minutes of walking every morning, meals with green vegetables, oats, fatty fish, and most importantly, monitor your blood pressure regularly every week. Just like you take care of your garden, your heart also needs to be taken care of every day. After the stroke, Richard recovered with physical therapy and a new diet that his daughter specially designed. Now he doesn't wash cars anymore, but he still goes for walks, still tells me jokes, and always reminds me every time we meet. Never think you're still healthy. Be sure by the numbers. And the sad thing is, there is another cause that is easier to overlook than heart disease. A slippery step, can also steal the freedom that you have kept all your life. We will talk about that soon. In part 2, falls, the quickest way to lose your independence. Mrs. Elaine is my mother's close friend. She is 84 years old this year. She lives alone, still goes to the market, cooks, and is always proud that she doesn't need anyone to take care of her. "My legs are still very steady," she often said, every time family members suggested installing handrails in the bathroom. But then, just one rainy morning, she slipped while getting out of the bathtub, and everything changed forever. Broken hip, hospitalized for nearly 6 weeks, then switched to crutches, then wheelchair. From an active woman, she became someone completely dependent on her children and grandchildren. And what made her saddest was not the wound. It's about no longer being able to make a cup of tea for yourself. We often think of a fall as simply a bruise. But after age 75, it can lead to hip fractures, requiring surgery, head injuries, and more serious, long-term loss of mobility. According to the CDC, for every 5 seniors who fall, 1 is seriously injured. And more than half of people who break their hips cannot return to living an independent life. It's not always because the floor is slippery. Many people fall because of loss of balance due to muscle weakness, side effects of stunning drugs, or standing up too quickly causing blood pressure to drop. The dangerous thing is that physical deterioration happens very silently. You don't realize you're weak until you lose your balance. I still walk normally, so I don't need to worry about falling. But in reality, many people fall for the first time in their own home, the safest place. There are many simple but effective things. Exercise your legs and abdominal muscles every day. Seat, stand up, leg lift. Install grab bars in the bathroom and walkways. Check all the medications you are taking. Ask your doctor if any medications cause dizziness. And especially, keep active habits. The less you move, the weaker your body. And this cycle is the cause of the next fall. Now, even though she has to use a walker, she still perseveres every morning to stand up and sit down 10 times. I've learned that to keep your feet is to keep your freedom, she said. And you know what's worse than falling? That's when every breath becomes heavy. Climbing just a few stairs makes you stop and breathe quickly. The respiratory system weakens more silently than we think, and by the time we realize it, it's sometimes too late. Let's explore in the next section. 3. Respiratory diseases: why a cough could be a red flag. Frank is my uncle. A quiet man, loves reading books, and always maintains a very moderate lifestyle. Every morning, I take a walk in the park, come home in the afternoon to take care of the plants, and in the evening I make tea and read historical novels. No one thought that a person like Uncle Frank, who did not smoke, did not eat salty food, could have a stroke. Yet, one morning, while putting books on the shelf, he suddenly dropped the book, turned away, and could not say anything. The whole family was frantic, thinking he was tired or had heat stroke. But fortunately, a neighbor, who had studied medicine, recognized the clear signs: distorted mouth, drooping left arm, slurred speech. They called an ambulance in time, and that saved Uncle Frank's life. A stroke occurs when blood flow to the brain is blocked or a blood vessel in the brain bursts. Within minutes, brain cells begin to die. And when brain cells die, nothing can replace them. The scary thing is that it happens very quickly and often without warning. Some people only feel mild dizziness, blurred vision, or numbness in their arms and legs for a few minutes. Then think, it must be due to lack of sleep. But sometimes, it is a transient stroke, an early warning of a real stroke. F. Face. Is one side of the face drooping? Arms. Can both arms be raised equally? S. Speech. Is speaking clearly, or is it stuttering? T. Time. If there are any signs, call emergency services immediately. In a stroke, time is the brain. The later it is, the higher the risk of death or disability. High blood pressure. A silent, asymptomatic killer. Heart arrhythmias, especially atrial fibrillation, AFib, cause blood to pool in the heart, easily forming clots. Poor nutrition and a diet rich in salt, sugar, and trans fats cause blood vessels to become increasingly narrow. My mind is still clear, there's no need to check too much. But a stroke doesn't need you to be old. It doesn't need you to be weak. It just needs you to be careless. And it can happen at any time. Measure your blood pressure regularly, at home, or have your doctor check you every 3 to 6 months. Monitor your heart rate, especially if you feel your heart skipping or having an irregular rhythm. Prioritize foods that are good for blood vessels: fatty fish, green vegetables, fruits, and whole grains. And don't forget to drink enough water. Thin blood, good circulation, significantly reduces the risk of stroke. After that, he spent several months in rehabilitation. Holding a pen and spoon, things that were once instinctual, now have to be learned from the beginning. But he never complained. He said, "To live, to learn again, is a gift more precious than anything." And if a stroke is a surprise attacker, there is another danger that creeps in silently every day. Every time you cough slightly, every time you feel a little short of breath and think it's a small thing. Don't be subjective with your breathing. Let's move on to the next part. 4. Respiratory diseases: why a cough could be a red flag. I clearly remember my grandmother as a gentle woman who loved roses and always got up early to cook breakfast for the whole family. In the last years of her life, She often had a dry cough in the morning, sometimes lasting up to a minute. We thought it was simply due to getting wind or stuffy nose due to the cold. Until one day, she had to be hospitalized for severe pneumonia. The doctor said, "Your lungs have been weak for a long time, but no one has discovered it." We were speechless, because it turned out that little cough was a cry for help that no one heard. After the age of 60, the lungs begin to gradually lose elasticity. Cough muscles weaken, and the cilia in the respiratory tract that helps sweep away dirt become less active. And then, even a cold can lead to bronchitis, pneumonia, or worse, respiratory failure. Diseases such as COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, asthma in the elderly, pneumonia caused by bacteria or viruses, are all real threats, especially when the immune system is weak. Persistent cough, with or without phlegm, mild shortness of breath when walking uphill or doing housework, wheezing, especially at night, fatigue with unknown cause. Many people are subjective, thinking it is due to normal aging. But in reality, it is that subjectivity that causes the disease to progress silently. I don't smoke, so my lungs should be fine. Actually, respiratory disease does not only come from cigarettes. Polluted air, indoor mold, fine dust, and even cooking with gas can all affect the lungs. And for the elderly, just one weakened lung can lead to hospitalization, loss of strength, and reduced mobility. Keep the air fresh. Use an air purifier, open doors for ventilation, avoid cigarette smoke. Breathing exercises and light exercise. Walk and stretch your lungs with simple exercises every morning. Vaccinations, flu shot, pneumococcal, and COVID-19 vaccines are important lines of defense. Drink enough water. Helps dilute mucus in the lungs, making breathing easier. After being in the hospital, my grandmother no longer had the strength to climb stairs like before, but she started opening the windows every morning, practicing breathing regularly, and taking 15-minute walks in her backyard. She said, "Taking a deep breath is the most wonderful feeling, but people often only appreciate it when they have lost it." And sometimes, the danger does not come from coughing or difficulty breathing, but from the blood vessels in the brain, when 1 minute of inattention can change the rest of your life. Let's move on to the next part, where every second determines the future. 5. Stroke, when seconds decide your future. Mr. Walter, my old neighbor, used to be a very smart man. He used to work as chief accountant for a large company, always remembering every number, every friend's birthday, even his neighbor's license plate number. But a few years after retirement, things began to change slowly, almost without anyone noticing. At first it was small things, forgetting to lock the door, asking again about what was said yesterday. Then the day came when he got lost right in the neighborhood where he had lived for more than 30 years. The diagnosis from the doctor was early cognitive impairment, pre-Alzheimer's. The most heartbreaking thing? He still has moments when he remembers, but it's the moments of not remembering that confuse him the most. Cognitive decline doesn't happen overnight. It starts silently with small things, putting the key in the wrong place, forgetting names of familiar people, being confused about things you've done hundreds of times. Many people think that it is normal aging, but actually, it can be an early sign of more serious diseases such as Alzheimer's or other forms of dementia. Poor blood circulation in the brain, social isolation, living alone for too long, poor diet, lack of physical and mental exercise, prolonged insomnia or depression. Just like muscles, the brain needs to be exercised regularly to maintain sharpness. Just forget a little, there's nothing to worry about. Subjectivity makes many people miss out golden period when intervention can slow the decline. Research shows that people who detect early and make proper lifestyle changes can delay dementia by 5 to 7 years. Exercise regularly. Walking, yoga. Yoga increases blood circulation to the brain. Participate in intellectual activities. Read books, play chess, learn new skills. Stay socially connected. Meet friends, join community groups, call relatives. Eat sensibly. Prioritize foods rich in omega-3, green vegetables, berries, nuts. Get enough sleep and on time. The brain needs deep sleep to regenerate memory and process information. After being diagnosed, his daughter worked with him to create a new life schedule. Every morning he plays Sudoku, walks in the park, and in the afternoon he learns the piano. Even though there are days when he forgets, he always remembers one thing. As long as I can do something new today, my mind is still fighting. And you know what makes all efforts meaningless? That is when you take the wrong medicine, take it at the wrong time, or combine the wrong medicine without even knowing it. A small mistake in a prescription can cause your health to plummet. Let's move on to the next part. 6. Medication mishaps, the hidden danger in your pillbox. 79-year-old Mr. Raymond is an extremely careful person. Every morning he wakes up at 6 a.m., eats breakfast on time, and takes his medicine regularly without missing a single pill. But then, one day he fainted right in the living room. The whole family panicked, thinking he was having a stroke. After receiving emergency treatment and doing tests, the doctor concluded Raymond had a serious drop in blood pressure because of the interaction between two drugs, one for the heart, one for the prostate. No one expected that the same pills he took every day could create such complications. After age 75, many people take 5 to 10 medications a day. Medicines to treat heart, blood pressure, diabetes, joint pain, insomnia, depression. The problem is not only taking it on time and in the right dose, but how they combine together. Some drugs, when used together, cause dizziness and lightheadedness, temporarily reduce memory, cause blood pressure to drop suddenly when standing up, or slow down the heart rate to a dangerous level. If I take it as prescribed by the doctor, how can there be a problem? This is true, but only if you have not changed the prescription in the near future. Many people go to see 2 to 3 different doctors without bringing a list of medications they are taking, leading to medication conflicts without the doctor knowing. And very few people ask the pharmacist or doctor when they have strange symptoms. Always bring a list of medications and dosages with you when going to the doctor. Use a medicine box with categories for each day, helping to avoid confusion. Set an alarm to take your medicine on time. Avoid skipping doses or taking it late. Ask your doctor/pharmacist every 6 months to see if there is a medication that works for you. Discontinue or replace. Be wary of over-the-counter medications. They can also cause dangerous interactions. After that, he started taking notes on each medication on a small board posted on the refrigerator, clearly stating the name of the medication, time to take it, and possible side effects. Every time he goes to the doctor, he carefully brings it along and asks about each type with the doctor. He said, each pill is a double-edged sword. If you know how to handle it, it will help. But if you are subjective, it can cut you back. And sometimes, the reason why the medicine is less effective comes from something seemingly simple, poor nutrition, or not eating at all. When the body does not have enough nutrition, even if you take the right medicine, your health will be difficult to recover. Let's move on to the next part. 7. Malnutrition, a common yet overlooked killer. Mrs. Mabel lives at the end of my street, a small woman with white hair like clouds and always carries a cloth bag to go to the market. She lived alone after her husband died. And no matter who asked, she always smiled and said, I'm still healthy, I just eat and drink simply, but that's enough. Until she was hospitalized for low blood pressure, persistent dizziness, and sudden weight loss. The doctor diagnosed severe malnutrition. Although she still eats every day, she eats too little and lacks most essential nutrients. Contrary to common imagination, malnutrition does not only occur when starved self. It often comes from eating less due to early feeling of fullness, taste changes, loss of appetite, difficulty chewing, swallowing due to weak teeth or dry mouth, or simply being afraid to cook, eating through meals. When the body does not receive enough protein, vitamins, minerals, energy, the immune system weakens, muscles lose strength, and the ability to recover from illness slows down significantly. According to research, up to 1 in 2 hospitalized elderly people in the U.S. suffer from some level of malnutrition, but most are not diagnosed on time. I'm not hungry, so I don't need to eat much. The feeling of hunger in the elderly is often not obvious, but nutritional needs are still intact. The body still needs protein to maintain muscle, good fats to maintain energy, and vitamins to operate the immune system. Divide meals into 5 to 6 small meals/day if you can't eat a lot at once. Increase soft, easy-to-digest foods, soup, porridge, smoothies, nut milk, boiled eggs. Add protein to each meal, like fish, beans, shredded chicken, milk, or yogurt. Don't forget good fats, from avocados, olive oil, nuts. Don't just eat to be full, eat to nourish yourself. After the hospital stay, her family hired a maid for half a day to prepare lunch and remind her to drink water on time. They post weekly menus on the refrigerator that are colorful and varied. She smiled brightly as she recounted, "Now I see that eating is a joy, not a duty. But even if you eat enough, take the right medicine, exercise regularly. Health can still decline if you face prolonged loneliness. Because humans don't just live by nutrition, they also live by connection." Let's continue with the following. 8. Loneliness, the epidemic that hurts like a disease. 85-year-old Mr. Thomas lives just a few houses away from my house. Since his wife passed away, that small house has almost always been silent. No more morning radio, no more knocking on the door from old friends. He still keeps his old lifestyle, making tea at 9 o'clock, sitting on a wooden chair on the porch. The only difference is, there's no one sitting next to me anymore. Children and grandchildren live far away, calling less and less. Then he began to be lazy in eating, quiet, insomnia, and forgetful, all not because of any specific illness, but because of the emptiness that smoldered every day. CDC research shows that prolonged loneliness can increase the risk of death equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It's not just a temporary feeling of sadness. Loneliness really affects cardiovascular, hypertension, arrhythmia, brain, increased risk of cognitive decline and Alzheimer's, immune system, reduced ability to fight disease. And sadly, many people don't know they're lonely until it's already wreaking havoc on their health. A loved one moves away. They lose a partner or a peer. Don't use technology to keep in touch. Afraid to go out due to illness or fear of falling. Loneliness doesn't always come from having no one around. But sometimes there are people nearby, but no one really listens. I'm used to living alone. I don't need anyone. Familiarity does not mean okay. The soul needs nourishment just as much as the body, and human connection is the source of that nourishment. Call a loved one at least a few times a week. Join a community group, yoga class, book club, walking club. Take advantage of technology, Zoom, FaceTime, or simply text daily. Volunteer or get a pet. Both are powerful spiritual medicine. Share even if it's just a few minutes a day. A young neighbor noticed him sit alone every morning and decide to bring bread over to chat for a few minutes every week. That was all, and gradually, Mr. Thomas began to tell old stories, then offered tea again, and then opened the window every morning. He said, "I don't need the whole world. I just need someone to remember that I'm still here." And there's one thing that makes loneliness even more dangerous. It directly affects sleep, which is the foundation of all recovery. A sleepless night can cause fatigue, confusion, and even increase the risk of falls and heart disease. Let's move on to the following. 9. Poor sleep, the underrated root of many problems. My uncle, Joe, is a very principled person. Even though he is retired, he still keeps the same schedule as when he was working. Waking up early, doing errands, reading the newspaper, and going for a walk. But recently, he started complaining that he always feels tired, even though he goes to bed on time every night. It turns out he sleeps, but doesn't sleep deeply. I wake up every 2 to 3 hours, then toss and turn and can't go back to sleep. Doctors call it old age sleep disorder, a very common thing, but few people recognize it early. Sleep is the repair part of the body. During deep sleep, the heart rests and the brain recovers. The body produces anti-inflammatory and immune-boosting hormones. The brain processes memory and emotions and helps maintain clarity. Prolonged poor sleep increases the risk of high blood pressure, loss of balance, easy to fall, memory loss, depression, and anxiety. One night of poor sleep can cause you to forget to take your medicine, forget to eat, and feel noticeably weak the next day. Biological changes in the sleep cycle. Less exposure to daylight. Use electronic devices before bed. Medication side effects. Anxiety, depression, or just loneliness. Short sleep is normal as you get older. Not true. Older adults still need 6 to 8 hours of quality sleep each night, and that can be achieved with a few small changes. Get out in the sun for at least 15 minutes each morning to help regulate your circadian rhythm. Don't drink caffeine or alcohol after afternoon. Avoid using phones and TV at least 1 hour before bed. Create relaxation habits. Read books, listen to soft music, Drink herbal tea. Keep your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet so your body knows it's time to rest. After some guidance, he started making changes. Go for a walk in the morning, use blackout curtains, no longer watch TV after 8 p.m. Sleep returned, and his spirit was completely different. He shared, "Sleeping well makes me feel rejuvenated. It's like my brain lights up after each deep sleep. And you know what? Even if you sleep well, eat enough, and exercise well, there is still one thing that can make your health slip without even realizing it. That's when you don't have regular health checks. Because there are diseases like cancer, diabetes, cardiovascular disease that have no pain, no symptoms, but have silently progressed. Let's go to the final part of today's video. 10. Lack of preventive checkups, a dangerous blind spot. I once met Ms. Evelyn in a community health seminar. She looks radiant, talks happily, and is lucid at the age of 81. She shared that she had never stayed in the hospital for a single day, which everyone admired. But a few months later, a health check by chance discovered early-stage colon cancer. She said, "I don't feel pain, I don't feel tired, I don't have any symptoms. If I hadn't gone to the doctor that day, I probably wouldn't have known until it was too late." Mrs. Evelyn was lucky because she discovered it in time, but many others do not. Many dangerous diseases have no obvious signs in the early stages. Cancer, colon, lung, prostate, diabetes, high blood pressure, increased cholesterol, kidney failure, osteoporosis, and more. When we don't get checked, we live with the feeling of seeming healthy, while our body is silently sending SOS signals without us hearing it. I feel normal. Why bother going to the doctor? But health cannot be assessed solely by feeling. Just like you can't tell if your car is about to break down just by keeping it running until the red warning light turns on. Blood pressure and blood fat every 6 months. Blood sugar and kidney function at least once a year. Cancer screening, colon, lung, prostate, breast, according to age-specific recommendations. Measure bone density, osteoporosis, every 2 to 3 years. Don't miss eye, ear, and tooth checkups. And if possible, find a familiar doctor for long-term monitoring to easily detect small changes over time. After successful treatment, she became a health ambassador in the neighborhood. Every year, she organizes a general health check for friends and neighbors, urging everyone to have regular checkups. She said, "No one likes the hospital, but if you go there for an early checkup, you can avoid the days of having to stay longer." So you have gone with me through the journey of 10 silent dangers after the age of 75. But the good news is, none of these dangers are uncontrollable. If you've come this far with me, take a minute to take a deep breath and look back at the 10 silent dangers we just discovered together. Heart disease silently weakens without exercise. A fall or a small slip can take away even your independence. Strokes come without warning, but can often be prevented. Respiratory diseases start with small coughs that are easy to ignore. Cognitive decline progresses little by little, but it is not impossible to slow it down. Errors when taking medication carry hidden risks right in the medicine box you rely on every day. Malnutrition. Even though you eat every day, do not eat properly. Loneliness is a disease that does not bleed but can devastate the mind. Sleep is the foundation of all restorative functions, but is often underestimated. Lack of regular checkups makes you think you're fine until it's too late. And what do all 10 of these things have in common? They can all be detected early, mitigated, or prevented if you start taking care today. You may not be able to control your age, but you can control every small choice every day. A 15-minute walk every morning. A phone call to a loved one. A regular health checkup appointment. A meal with more green vegetables and less salt. A greeting to a neighbor who lives alone. These small things, repeated every day, can change the rest of your life. Health after age 75 does not come from luck, but from initiative. There is no need to change your whole life overnight. Just start with one small thing. Do it every day, and believe that you deserve to live a longer, healthier, and more meaningful life. If you have ever encountered any of the 10 problems above, please comment the corresponding number, 1 to 10, below so we know you're here and you're not alone. And if you found this video helpful, click subscribe and turn on the notification bell. We have a lot of other valuable content waiting to share. Because healthy life doesn't stop at knowledge, but starts with action. See you in the next video where we will continue our journey of healthcare in preserving our own freedom.